This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and free dining has been extended. That's right. It's if you book by August 14th, you'll be able to get free dining on select nights between August 15th and December 21st, 2010. There's lots of dates that you have to choose from, so you'll need to get details and all the details on how to book free dining in any trip, in fact. You can be found at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, July 21st, 2010, and this is episode 749 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
I think the founding fathers never dreamed of an America like this.
I'm trying to think of the lyrics of the song, but it's American Adventure.
Yep.
I know the tune. I can't think of the first words.
Golden Dream?
Yeah, Golden Dream is right.
I don't think that's part of the song, though. I think
that's after.
Yeah, I think that's either Mark Twain or Ben who's saying that.
Right, exactly. Well, it's Wednesday, and just because it's only me and Scopa doesn't mean we're not going to be answering your listener questions. And we're going to start with an email from Jessica from Apex, North Carolina. I was listening to the June live show on my way to work this morning and have some updated info from the Disney Vacation Club for you. A listener had called in and asked about pool hopping while using DVC points. You guys were a little off on the availability of pool hopping at Animal Kingdom and Bay Lake Towers. According to the information that DVC sent me just 2 weeks ago, there is no pool hopping allowed at Yacht and Beach Club, Stormalong Bay and Leisure Pools, Bay Lake Towers at the Bay Cove Pool, and Animal Kingdom Lodge, Kidani Village, Uzima Pool, and Sawati Springs. Hope this is helpful to you guys and the listeners. Great job on the podcast.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate that. Next email is from Jonathan of Gibbonsville, North Carolina. Whereas I hope that you guys and gal can get this question before August 2010 price update. Oh, we did. Nice job. I had a question regarding the annual pass pricing. If I were to buy an annual pass voucher now in July 2010, before the August price increase, would I be able to redeem it in late November of 2011 and have the 366-day park entry period begin at that point? I was wondering if the AP vouchers work the same as regular park passes. That is to say, you can buy the tickets now and not use them for multiple years before you can first activate them later on. But that way, I can save some money as the years progress. Thanks for your awesome, I just couldn't help myself lend answers. That's a lot. Yeah, that'll work. If you have a new annual pass and you get the voucher, your dates do not start until you first activate the pass. That wouldn't work if you were doing an annual pass renewal. So
No.
Good. So that plan's for you, John.
And I also think that if anyone's planning on buying tickets or annual passes, I'm not sure about annual. I think annual passes may be different than the regular Magic Your Way, but I know that the last 3 or 4 years, the ticket prices have gone up in August, so something to keep in mind.
Yeah, nothing gets announced ahead of time generally, but that would, if it's going to happen, it would happen right around that first, I believe the first weekend in August over there. So if you've got tickets, if you need to buy tickets and you have some cash ready now, definitely buy them now to take advantage of that. Next email is from Dave from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Writes, I really enjoy the show, and you have great insight into the many of the aspects of Walt Disney World. However, on a regular basis, you usually suggest people not get the dining plan. Okay. I agree with the majority of your complaints about the cost and quality of the food in Walt Disney World. It's expensive, and the outstanding meal is more the exception than the rule. And okay, my family is very picky and not big eaters as well. However, on our last trip, we got the dining plan, and it was well worth it. The lunch with princesses in Norway paid for the whole day. The plan cost us about $100 a day, and the meal came to about $140 for 2 adults and 2 children. We didn't always eat at the most expensive restaurants, but when on average you drop $45 for lunch, yikes, a meal plan that costs $100 seems to pay for itself. I'm sure that if I did a point-by-point comparison, yes, it may be less expensive if I had paid out of pocket instead of getting the meal plan, but there's a lot to say about paying for upfront and enjoying without having to worry about what you order. Part of vacation is relaxing, and this adds a layer of relaxation, which is sorely needed on a Walt Disney World vacation. I'm a Disney World veteran, been about 20 times, certainly not to the extent of you gentlemen, but do get the whole planning aspect as well. Very much enjoy the show.
Well, that was the point right there, Matt. He's a veteran. I don't know if you agree with me on this, but The dining plan, I don't really believe that the dining plan is best suited for someone who is going for the first time or who hasn't been there for a while. I think you really have to know where you're going to eat, how you're going to eat, be able to make those reservations at those restaurants that will pay off if you are going for the dining plan. You need to be a veteran. You need to know what you like. You need to know where you'll get the most value. Otherwise, I'm not sure if it's going to work for someone who's going for the first time in their lives or for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Mike. But I think the issue is he brought up the number one reason why people like the dining plan, and Len said it 1,000 times on the show: convenience. People love that ability to just go to any restaurant, order anything they want on the menu, and not have to worry about paying for it. Although you are on the hook for gratuity.
Yeah.
And to me, and he said he may have paid extra, which he probably did, compared to if he had gone back and paid it all for himself. And that's what really bugs me. It's like, if you like that ability not to have to worry about it, then you know what you should do? Put a lot of money on a gift card, like an Amex gift card, and then that's all you need. Figure out a ballpark estimate, and then guess what? If you end up with money left over, you're saving that money. I understand you want convenience, but why are you paying extra for it? Because you're getting, some places there's the occasion where you may actually break even or make some money on it, but there's gonna be a lot of other instances where I think you don't come out ahead, And to that point, I just don't get why people want the convenience is worth paying extra. That's like, what? Pay me $50. I'll go to every single meal with you. You pay for the meal and I'll take care of the money, so you don't ever have to worry about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand, and that's why among other reasons we're not huge fans of the dining plan. But I appreciate, Dave, that you emailed in and shared your thoughts, because we like to exchange ideas and everything, and that was good. Mm-hmm. Next email is from Clarissa from Chicago. Writes, we're going to Walt Disney World soon, staying at Bay Lake Towers. There'll be 5 of us, 4 adults and 1 child, age 5. I will probably rent a car because the last time I was there, Disney transportation was horrid, and I vowed never to take it again. My problem is I don't know what size car I should rent to hold all of our luggage, plus the 5 of us. I guess I have a couple different options. A, take Magical Express to and from the airport and rent a car on property. I sort of hate this idea because of all the time wasted. The last time we had to return to the airport 3 hours before our flight departed, was dropped off at the lower level and had to lug all of our bags upstairs to the check-in counter. Option 2, rent a car, don't know what size, maybe you guys can suggest from the airport. Or C, take Magical Express to property, rent a car, and drop it off at the airport. Not sure if it's possible. We'll also be visiting Universal Studios for a couple days. Any guidance would be appreciated.
All right. Now, here we go again with the convenience versus cost. And talking about time, there is a time consideration that must be noted when you are going to rely on Disney transportation during your stay. If you have a car, you can get around much quicker. You could probably do more things. You could probably shave off some time going to and from theme park, with the exception, of course, of the Magic Kingdom. I think that saying that, my thought would be leaning towards taking Magical Express to get to and from Disney World and to rent a car while you're there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, let's help her. I think renting a car I like renting a car the entire time from the airport. I mean, I just, the problem with Magical Express, which she brings up, that bugs me as well, Clarissa. So I would say rent a car. But Mike, what about, she had a problem figuring out what size car. So they've got 4 adults and 1 child, age 5. What size vehicle would you recommend?
4 adults and 1 child. I would say, oh my God, I would think about a mid-size SUV. I think that comfort. You're gonna need to be able to fit 5 people, and so I think an economy is not going to work. Maybe a mid-size might work. I'm not sure how big their luggage needs will be. You can always have, you can always put one set of a little bit of luggage on your laps in the back seat. I'm thinking mid-size, and another reason why I suggested that that option is that car rental rates are really through the roof, and if you can shave off a little bit here and there, that would go a long way. But I'm guessing mid-size SUV would be my first thought.
Yeah, I agree with that. Makes sense. Next email is from Mark, who writes, my wife and new daughter are planning on going to Walt Disney World for our daughter's first birthday, first trip, and our first Disney Vacation Club vacation in December 2010. Good thing there's plenty of time for you to reply to the question, sort of, because 7 to 11 month booking windows. But anyway, here's my question for your esteemed opinions. First is resort. We love our home resort of Animal Kingdom Lodge and would like to stay there, but with a 1-year-old, this may not be the best place to stay because of distance to the Magic Kingdom. Would Bay Lake Tower be a better choice because of its closer proximity to the Magic Kingdom?
Well, the other thing that Bay Lake Towers offers, I really think that it's geared for a young family. You've been up there, Matt. You've seen the rooms.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Very bright, very colorful, very cheerful. Something that I think would really work well with a family with young children. So, I think that Bay Lake Towers would be the choice here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Bay Lake's a great option, Mark. I would definitely say that it's a much better option than Animal Kingdom Lodge. I don't think it has Animal Kingdom Lodge, but if you are going to be spending a lot of time in the Magic Kingdom, it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
As Mark's other question was, finally, is there anything special that we can do for our daughter's first birthday? I know Scopa hates kids, and I would normally agree with that. Walt Disney World is better without kids. However, we want to make this special. She will not remember anything, but we want to make it special anyway. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of something that would be special for the kid. You know what? Maybe Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. You know, get her all done up, take pictures. She'll never remember it anyway. And then you can, have show the pictures later. She can get all fancied up, gussied up at 1 year old. That's my suggestion. Because, I mean, since it's not like bringing her to a restaurant is going to do anything for her. Because she's still going to be eating, Gerber's mushed peas instead of, steak. So, I don't know, Scope, any suggestions of that?
Oh, man. 1 year old. I would not do Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. She may be screaming and yelling, crying bloody murder as they're doing stuff to her hair. I would say Chef Mick. Just go to Chef Mickey's. Go to Crystal Palace where she can see some characters, where there can be some characters around her as you take photos. They may bring something over, a little birthday thing. They make the table very festive. I think that would be the wiser choice.
Good selection, Mike. I like it.
Yeah.
Next email's from Riley Williamson. And Mike, you remember we've talked many times about that with Fast Pass. You can, you get a Fast Pass for like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you show back up, even though the ticket says, between 2 and 3 p.m., if you show up at 6 o'clock, they'll take your ticket.
Sure.
Regardless. And Riley writes in and says, I'm a cast member at Disneyland, and I just listened to the listener question show. When I was in Traditions and they were explaining Fast Pass to the noobs, they said that guests could return at any time after the initial return time. So that's just about as close as I can get to official. And I tell everyone that, and no one I have ever dealt with had the same problem with it. Just thought I would clear that up. Thanks for the great show.
Well, to tell you, this past year I actually I showed up at a Fast Pass return entrance with Fast Passes that were 24 hours old, and I got in.
Interesting. Next email is from Chip Joyce of Peoria, Illinois. Right, I spent a lot of time in the world this past September and October, and during that time, noticed a lack of variety in character dining. It seems nearly all character meals feature the Fab Five, Chip and Dale, or princesses. I know you guys generally aren't into character meals, but if Imagineers invited you to create your ideal character dining experience, where would it be, what characters, and what type of food would it involve? Personally, I can't believe Disney has not recognized the potential in a Pixar character meal, perhaps at the studios. It's interesting that Chip brings that up. Mike, I'll let you think about it for a second because I wanted to share a quick story. They actually did consider doing a Pixar-based dining meal at Hollywood and Vine. This is back when, if you guys remember, there used to be a character meal at Hollywood and Vine way back in the day. And then they killed it off. They just got rid of character meals. And for a while, there was no character meals at all in the studios, let alone Hollywood and Vine. And then about 2000, I want to say it was 06 or 05, maybe 07, they were starting the rumors, and they were going to do a character meal that was based on Toy Story. The Toy Story characters there. It was going to be kind of like a boys thing. And it really went all the way up to the point they were planning it and everything, and they hit a roadblock. And I don't want to say why because I'm not 100% sure, and I've heard the story, I just don't remember exactly. But something came up. They had to ditch the whole Pixar idea, and in the end, now they kind of just said, we need something. And they went with the current, which we have right now, which is the Playhouse Disney characters. So Disney did try to do that. Didn't work out for whatever reason. I don't recall exactly the reason, so I don't want to put out something that may or may not be true. And they didn't do that. So unfortunately, that didn't work out. But Chip, I think it's a great idea. Mike, do you have any thoughts on the characters?
Yeah, I think they need a character meal in either the in Adventureland in the Magic Kingdom or in the studios, and I think it should be themed around the villains, and I think that it could be called the Villains Villa or whatever. And you would have some of the most famous villains, I think, on a rotating basis, both face and fur villains show up, and I think it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, you could have entrees with prefixes of villains like Captain Hook's, you know, meat and potatoes, or
Gator tail.
or Ursulinda's calamari, something like that. You know, but I think that they're you know, we've been hearing so many rumors that 5-6 years ago about, you know, there should be a villains theme park or whatever. They really need to take a look at the villains aspect of all their legacy and maybe make use of that.
Next email is from Chris Glover of Manchester, United Kingdom, who writes, my question is regards to Christmas time. We'll be at the World over Christmas, and I was wondering how likely it is that the parks hit capacity and hopping becomes impossible. Well, I was at the studios for Christmas 2009, and really the days before Christmas aren't terrible. In fact, Christmas Day at the studios really wasn't bad at all. But after Christmas, from 25th through like January 2nd or so, it's really packed. And the only park that really ever closes is the Magic Kingdom. That will close most likely on Christmas, as well as on New Year's Eve and maybe even another day or two between Christmas and New Year's. So those are really, it's really just the Magic Kingdom that gets ridiculously crowded in terms of that's going to close to capacity. Last year in 2009, the studios did not close to my knowledge at any time. It gets busy, don't get me wrong. But actually, I found the studios to be quite pleasant on Christmas Day. So it's an option for you to consider. Also, we have reservations at Chef Mickey's on Christmas Day. I wondered how you would advise traveling around the world that day, given that we need to leave by 9 p.m. to pick up the rest of our party from the airport. Our reservation is at 7:30 p.m., so could we park at the Contemporary to facilitate a speedy departure after dinner?
What day is that, Matt?
Christmas Day.
Oof. I think there won't be a problem. I think that if they have a reservation when they go in, I think it may be one of those deals on that particular day where the guard shack will have the list of names, and be able to verify, and probably give them maybe a 2-hour pass to park at the Contemporary.
I think they'll be fine. 7:30 p.m. reservation, not a problem at all, Chris. I would say go for it.
Yeah.
Chris adds, thanks for the great show. Essential for us United Kingdom listeners who can't go to Walt Disney World as often as we'd like. Thank you, Chris. Next email is from Linda from England, keeping with the Brit theme here. Hope all is going well with you guys. Just planning my trip for the world to March, and I've already planned out most of my days using the Fab 2010 edition of the unofficial guide. This will be my 4th trip over from the United Kingdom, and I've always followed the touring plans to the letter with great success. My question is this. I have an 8:20 a.m. ADR for Donald's Safari breakfast on a day when the Animal Kingdom opens at 8 a.m. We usually get to the park for rope drop and head off to our first attraction as indicated in the touring plan as we are following. But by the time we get out of our breakfast, everyone will have a head start on us. So what should we do? Do you think the lines will be huge for Everest and the Safari by the time we get out? We're going to be at the park for the last week of March, but have chosen the best day from Animal Kingdom from the information based on the crowd calendar. So although it's spring break, the day we've chosen to visit should be the best day for that week. What do you guys think?
So why not, one person with all the admission tickets go over to Everest to get a fast pass while everybody goes over to Donald's, and you meet up at Donald's, and then after breakfast you go over. Oh, you don't want to ride Everest right after breakfast? Well, maybe you could.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good option. Anyway, they get the fast pass and they don't have to ride immediately afterwards.
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
should be okay.
Yeah, all you have to do for the touring plans, and Len has said this 1,000 times, all you have to do is just kind of take out the attractions you think you'd miss in the time period. I think he figures about 20 minutes per attraction is what you should be estimating out.
Yeah,
and then just resume the plan and then fit it back in with fast pass.
Yeah. Next
email is from Todd, who's known as G Niger, I guess, on www.com. Hoorah. Who writes, I am planning on taking part in the Disney Endurance event, specifically the Wine and Dine Half Marathon the first weekend in October. I would be bringing someone who has never been to Disney World with me. I would like to know what y'all's thought on accommodations, value, moderate, deluxe, or rent points from a DVC member. What do you think, Mike?
Loaded question. I think that the values and the moderates are going to be filled up. They seem to fill up real quickly for things like endurance events, especially for the weekends. I would say, I would say go with a moderate. I'd say go with Port Orleans and try that. Yeah, you could try for a moderate. I think because of where it's going to start. I guess a lot of the resorts are close to Epcot and close to the studios are going to be filled up first because that's closest to the start of the race. That's why I'm suggesting Port Orleans. That may be one of the last moderates that is going to be filled up. So that's my advice.
Okay, makes sense. Next email is from Kevin Z of Fort Wayne, Indiana. First, I was wondering, is there any truth to the rumor that Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem will replace Aerosmith on the Rock and Roller Coaster?
I do know that there is an overlay. I've been told that there is an overlay in case there was ever a need to remove Aerosmith from that attraction. So they've got something that I've been told that they may have. There's something in waiting just in case. I don't know how true that is, but I think a cast member told me that last year. So I don't know. I don't know what that overlay is, but they could quickly change it.
Yeah, there's no plans that I've heard that I would ever want to consider to be any factual truth that they're going to replace them. Right. I mean, every time there's ever a tarp at Rock and Roller Coaster, everyone throws their hands up and says, "Oh, that's it." The Jonas Brothers are going to take over, or actually, the rumor du jour is what's her name, Hannah Montana. That's
oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That'll
never go on.
Yeah. Let me tell you something real quick about these rumors. They never happen for this. I mean, short of like an event happening, like an incident, like Aerosmith is, I don't know, something happens horribly one way or the other, that would cause Disney to have to pull it immediately. I don't see them really replacing anytime soon. Certainly, there's nothing on the horizon that I would really want to comment on it. I don't really foresee anything happening certainly in that near future. So really, to answer your question, no, there are no. I wouldn't base those rumors. Wouldn't trust any of them. I don't think it's really realistically going to happen anytime soon. So, yeah, we're going to have Aerosmith for the foreseeable future. Next email is from Mark from Sydney, Australia. Good day, everyone. Regarding episode 647, my favorite secondary icon for Epcot is the DNA strand outside the Wonders of Life Pavilion, still easily visible from outside Ellen's Dinosaur Ride, or whatever it's called, Stupid Judy. Nothing says nature and science more than this DNA statue. I still have fond memories of the Wonders of Life, Cranium Command, etc. Bring it back, please. Wow. I give you credit for being a fan of the DNA strand and the Wonders of Life Pavilion, but I'm not sure I would yet call that the second icon of Epcot, but interesting thought. Thank you, Mark. Next email is from George from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Sorcerer G on WWA.com. Hoorah! I have a great idea for you that combines your expertise in live broadcasts with a desire to reduce the number of unruly kids in the parks. Ready? WWA Daycare Live from All-Star Vacation Homes. You guys can do a live show from an All-Star Vacation Home. People can drop off their kids for you to take care of. Parents wouldn't worry because they can just tune into the live show to see how things are going. Scopa can mix up some stole-ups in the kitchen while Len and the kids argue whether Van Halen or the Jonas Brothers should be the next band on Rock and Roller Coaster. Oh, the fun that would ensue. I wouldn't even charge you for the idea. What do you think?
Next
email. Next email is from... I think it might be time for our last email, Mike. What do you think?
I think we have time for, let me see. I'm guessing we have time for, let me see. We have time for at least one more, yes.
Okay, so let me do
maybe two. Maybe one or two. Leave that up to you, man.
All right, we'll do a quickie here. Here's one. Our second to last email today is from Jessica from Wisconsin, who writes, loving the show. As always, it makes my upcoming honeymoon, 90 days to go, seem that much closer. My last question was answered promptly in a helpful way, so I thought I'd try it again. My honeymoon is twofold. 3 nights in the world, followed by 4 nights on the Disney cruise. We're hitting all 4 parks in only 3 days, so I've told my husband that's going to need to be planned and that we really need to be at the parks well before they open in order to maximize our time. I told him the time for going with the flow is on the cruise, and for that part of the trip, we can do whatever we want when we want. There's no need to schedule. He's more than willing to get up early in order to accommodate my color-coded schedule, but he's somewhat skeptical that it's necessary to be up early to be there when the park opens. Any suggestions to illustrate it to him as to why this is important would be appreciated.
You go first on this one, Matt.
I was just going to say, there's, as she was mentioning that, you're up, first of all, Jessica, you're absolutely right. You have to be there for park opening because it's just going to maximize your time. You know, if you have the unofficial, the color companion to the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, there's a great little picturette, a little thing over there. And it's got 3 pictures of Fantasyland. And one picture's at 9 a.m., one's at 11 a.m., and one's at like 2 p.m. or something like that. And each picture, the one at 9 a.m. is like, it's a ghost town. And then it gets progressively more and more crowded. And by getting to the park at literally a park opening, being there on hand for that, you're going to be ahead of so many other people. And that's going to put you in the perfect pole position to really be able to get so much more done. And really, honestly, there is a difference between, even 15 minutes where, being there at 9 a.m. or 9:15 because you're going to be the first on these attractions. So whereas, like, if you're there at 9 o'clock in the morning and you go to Space Mountain first, you'll be really walking on Space Mountain. There'll be no wait. It's just the amount of time it takes you to get from the entrance to the ride. If you get there at 9:15, yeah, you're only going to wait probably 5 minutes, but you're waiting 5 minutes. You understand? So now you're waiting 5 minutes there. And then you get to the next attraction, and there's probably an extra 5-minute wait there. So you get this aggregate time that builds up as you go. Not that there's a huge deal, because the first couple of attractions, who cares? It's only a 5-minute wait. But you could, if you were there just 15 minutes early, you would have had a much less wait time. What do you think about Scopa?
Yeah, I think there's so much to consider in this, because if you think about it, after 1 hour of you being in the parks, you're already somewhere else in the park. And moving on to some places that those people who are just coming in won't get to. So you've got an advantage there too. The other thing to always keep in mind is that if you happen to be a resort guest and you can take advantage of the Extra Magic Hour mornings, one thing to keep in mind that if you are going to go to that park during Extra Magic Hour mornings, then you have to be there for Extra Magic Hour mornings, because about midway through the morning, around 10:30, that park's going to be more crowded because of that. It won't be as crowded early on because you're just dealing with resort guests. But now you've got the general public and you've got the lazy resort guests who go in 9 o'clock, 9:30, whatever. So rule of thumb, the early bird catches the attractions. That's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, really, even, we obviously say be there for park opening, but, you got to be there certainly that first hour. We've done past shows about it. Go check out our archives. I believe it was called the Magic Hour or something like that. And we've gone over it many times. But really, park opening is essential. So Jessica, make sure your fiance or husband to be, whatever, is on board with it. Just say, you know what, just trust me on this one, and it'll work out for the best. It's time for our last question of the day, and since it's only Scopa here, Mike, you get to pick.
All right.
our last 3 options. Your options are: I'm a married spud, I'm a married spud, question on hard ticket events, or ow, how my head hurts.
Hard ticket events.
Good. Last email today is from David Matebot. It's from David from Walton, Massachusetts, who writes, "Greetings, WWD crew. I got a question for you today. We're looking at heading down to the world in November between Veterans Day and Thanksgiving, year not defined. I see that a few Very Merry Christmas events will be happening that week. I have a question on the hard ticket required. If we want to go on the park during the daytime, do we need to use a separate day's admission, or does the hard ticket include theme park admission for the day? Alternately, suppose we want to do something else outside of the parks during the daytime. Do we need to have to wait for a specific time to enter the park, or can we go in early if we wanted to, again, without burning a day's ticket?"
Love these easy questions. The answer is that if you're going before 7, maybe 6, that you will be, well, maybe even before 5.
I believe it's 4 o'clock.
Is it 4 o'clock, Matt?
Yep.
Okay. If you go before 4, then you're going to be burning a day's ticket. If you go anytime after 4:30, then you're probably just going to have to use your hard ticket. You will have to use your hard ticket event. So if you're going to a very Merry Christmas party tomorrow night, you can go in at 4 o'clock and not burn your regular Magic Your Way pass, or annual pass doesn't make a difference. But
right.
If it's really, the thing is that if you're going to that hard ticketed event and you're going to the Magic Kingdom, you don't go to the Magic Kingdom that day, but you go to another park during the day. But if you do go to another park during the day, you're going to burn your ticket there. So it depends upon what you're going to do.
Yeah, it might be if it's an issue for you to burn that day or not. It might be a good day for you to try to do some outside the park activities. Resort hopping,
exactly.
A meal somewhere, sleep in, stuff like that. But yeah, your hard ticket ticket will get you in at 4:00 p.m., but no earlier than that. So, you got to make that gut decision there and see what it's going to be worth. If you're there for let's say you're there for 14 days, where the difference between each day ends up costing you nothing, to add on day 13 and day 14, no problem. If you're there for 3 or 4 days, where the price per day is a lot more, yeah, that's more of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, that's do it for us today. Don't forget, this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And you know what? If you're thinking about Reunion 2010, which is coming up December 1st through 6th, 2010, you're saying, that sounds kind of interesting. Why not book with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel? Because they're going to get you a lot of special benefits by booking through them. You're going to get access to one of their signature events that's happening at Reunion. And as well, if and when we release any special events that we're doing that require separate admission, being the clients of MEI and Mouse Fan Travel get first crack at it. So that will put you right in the driver's seat to be part of all the fun. Check them out online at www.mousefantravel.com. You can find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments. You can visit us at the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show.